be joined by State Representative Chris Hendricks, who represents all of Acushnet and a good chunk of the north end of New Bedford. Good morning, Representative. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Everything's good on my end. Things are busy with constituent issues, obviously, regarding unemployment. That's kind of kept me busy for the most part. But, things are going smoothly. I don't know if I told you last time, but the unemployment department here in Massachusetts has, I think, hired hundreds of people to help them with concerns. So that's been a huge help. Typically, when you have to deal with unemployment issues, it can be kind of a bureaucratic, headache. But I think they're really buckling down and really getting people situated here. So that's great news.
No, that's excellent, because the whole goal of what's going on is to put money into people's hands so they don't lose out and don't face any more additional hardships than what's going on for those of us who are still employed. So, Chris, you have done something very interesting. So if people don't know, Chris is also an attorney and handles primarily workers' comp type stuff in his private sector life and previous to becoming the state representative for Acushnet and part of the North End. But you did something remarkable, which was to get a bill as a freshman into the bloodstream of the legislature to help people out regarding workers' comp. Give us a little insight, a little update, because for those people who don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so this bill is pretty simple. It creates a legal presumption that if an emergency healthcare worker got diagnosed with COVID during this time, that it's a legal presumption that they contracted that at work, which would make it easier for them to apply and claim workers' compensation benefits, which would pay them, while they're out, 60% of their average weekly wage, and also 100% of any medical treatment they would need related to the COVID diagnosis. So essentially, at the end of the day, it would make it easier for frontline healthcare workers, EMTs, nurses who work in the ICUs, emergency departments, to get workers' comp benefits in the event that they get diagnosed with this.
We're speaking with State Representative Chris Hendricks, who represents Acushnet and New Bedford. But so, Chris, so for people who aren't initiated in this, and this is your world, but even before you were state representative, explain why that's important, going through the workers' comp as opposed to the unemployment system, which is, as we've seen, rightfully really overwhelmed.
Right. So, if any of these healthcare workers, let's just say a doctor in St. Luke's emergency department gets diagnosed with COVID, they would typically just file for workers' comp, but they would have the burden to show where exactly they ingested the COVID molecule, if you will, which is a huge, almost impossible burden for anybody. So what this would do is that it would do away with that burden, and essentially, if you are a frontline worker, you have that presumption that it happened at work, and thus you'll be entitled to immediate wage relief. This bill is limited, as you noted, that it doesn't include everybody, all the essential workers.
Right.
I would like to see it expanded at some point, if either the governor by executive order does it or the bill passes. I would like to see it amended to grocery workers and all healthcare workers, including CNAs who have to travel to at-risk folks who, to their homes and other healthcare sectors. COs as well, grocery workers. So I think, at some point we should have some serious discussion about opening up the eligibility, but who would be included in this bill. And I think that's, something we can certainly work on.
So, folks, Chris won't say this, but I will. Normally, a freshman state representative is told to sit down. But the fact that he's gotten this bill forward, and we won't ask him for comment, is really incredible. I have to tell you something. It's quite an accomplishment for someone at your beginner level to, with all due respect, to have gotten a bill this far forward and so forward thinking. And so the people who elected you ought to be proud of it. Chris, the city of New Bedford, Mayor John Mitchell, has put forward really some amazing stuff, and he did it. He got the 2 nursing homes opened with city dollars so that he would have over 200 additional beds for your constituents and the people you guys are elected by. There's some hiccup there with the state. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so what you're referring to, obviously, is the state that came out either yesterday or the day before, saying that the facility, the nursing home facility on the Avenue, in the far north end will not be covered as far as covering COVID patients who go there relative to Mass Health. Essentially, rendering that whole facility null and void at this point. I mean, in many ways, that's good news because it's the professionals and the health folks aren't anticipating as much of a surge that we'll need that. But I'm very glad to hear that the mayor has maintained, the lease agreements and the contractual obligations that he and the city would need in the event that we do need this. So certainly, it's kind of jarring to hear that we're not going to have this facility, but if our projections are right, and we hopefully we won't need it, and we also have the other nursing home down Rockdale Avenue that will remain open and remain treating patients related to COVID, and as well as the UMass overflow facility as well.
And should we get a surge in later in the year, and the experts are saying we are. I hope we don't, but you'd be there along with the mayor to look at revisiting that to remind the governor.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, if we do end up needing this and we need immediate action, obviously myself and the rest of the delegation is going to be there to fight for any type of funding that they may need or any type of red tape that needs to be cut in order to get that facility up and running.
No, excellent. I mean, I'm really, I know there's a very good relationship between the mayor and the delegation and
yeah,
you in particular.
And let me just say that, the mayor has done, I think, a phenomenal job at getting all these things. Every time I open up the newspaper or Facebook, you see stories that, New Bedford's having its challenges, and it's just like anywhere else. But as of right now, we're doing pretty well as far as numbers and as far as maintaining the surge. I think the mayor and the city, in coordination with South Coast Health, and those guys at South Coast Health have been awesome about really getting ahead of the curve on this potential surge. And we're maintaining pretty well, so hopefully we can keep that going. My biggest anxieties about this whole thing was everything we've been talking about. It's the medical surge. If we have to have doctors and nurses at St. Luke's making decisions about who gets a ventilator and who doesn't, that would have been hell for everybody. And the fact that we aren't even close to that point is just a testament to how good South Coast, Keith, Bill, and Steve have been doing to get ahead of this thing and prepare for the worst. And I can't tell you how appreciative I am of their work and what they've done.
We're speaking with State Representative Chris Hendricks, who represents Acushnet and a good chunk of New Bedford. The mayor, of course, was advised by his wife on some of these things, but maybe people don't realize this. Your sister is a very accomplished oncology nurse as well.
Yeah.
Have you leaned on her a little bit for this medical information? I know you're a lawyer like the mayor, but
yeah, no, I have. She's up in Boston several times a week as an oncology nurse, Mass General. She's not directly involved with the COVID issues, but it's certainly affecting her floor and her department as far as staffing. I know a lot of nurses that she was accustomed to working with are now down below working in the for COVID matters. So, and as far as PPE, they're doing pretty well up there as well. And if our surge, New Bedford surge is behind Boston's, and Boston's is behind New York. So, so we can kind of anticipate what the challenges will be, thankfully, by the others who are dealing with it. But yeah, just like anywhere else, they have the challenges up there. But, the worst, it appears the worst has passed us, knock on wood. So hopefully we can just keep that going.
No, absolutely. And again, it's incumbent upon us to all try to maintain the things we've been doing and then grow our way out of this, right? By increasing the healthcare opportunities. So, Chris, what anything else going on that the folks of Acushnet and New Bedford should know about coming through your office, or if they need anything, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, no, of course. I've been dealing with the constituent issues all day, every day. So you can email me at chris.hendricks@mahouse.gov. I'll say that again, chris.hendricks@mahouse.gov with any issues or concerns. and just contact my office, and we'll take care of it. Now, on Monday, Chris,
Yeah.
I know that the governor, as far as a reopening, what that's going to look like in black and white, as far as, what sectors, what industry is going to be allowed to reopen and how that's going to look. So from what I'm told, from what the governor says and what's coming out of his office is that he's going to have some pretty, hopefully strong guidance as far as what the reopening phase is going to look like on Monday. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to look like, and if hopefully we can get this, the economy and people out of their homes and working sooner rather than later.
Yeah, no, I think that's everyone's goal, and we'll be looking forward to what the governor and his task force have to say with that. But again, Chris, this is your first year. There's no way that you thought this was going to happen, right? In your first year,
No,
it's
baptism
by fire.
Yeah, it's a lot of thinking on your feet, but luckily we have, the delegation we have is, we have a great delegation with people, these guys, Chris McCarthy, Tony Cabral, Paul Schmidt, Bill Strauss. These guys, they know how to handle stuff like this. So it's a lot of learning for sure, and I'm just thankful that I have a lot of people to learn from, a lot of people to lean on. Everyone's leaning on each other, and that's just
right.
the way it's going to be for a while. And so, to have that leak into my job, that's fine with me, so long as I have good people to lean on.
You'll be telling people, hey, listen, you think this is tough? I was around for COVID-19 in my first year. Right? Chris, again, if
we can talk about the COVID crisis in the past tense sooner.
Absolutely, Chris. Again, give out your contact information if people need your help.
So my email is chris.hendricks, HENDRICKS, @mahouse.gov. Any type of unemployment issues that anyone's dealing with, if you live in Acushnet, the north end of Bedford, or if you live anywhere, and I can shoot you to the proper representative. In my office is 617-722-2305. 722-2305.
All right, my friend. Listen, stay safe. Thanks for making some time for us. I appreciate it. We'll be in touch later.